Hey guys, Barrett here from Pickleball Kitchen. Welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about Selkirk Labs. This is my review of the whole thing. I apologize for this taking so long to get out. I received the paddles back in, gosh, I think it was late February now, and I played with them for a couple of weeks, but then I had to switch gears to something else. But here we are, finally in early April. Oh man, this has been easily one of the most controversial paddle releases ever. I tell you though, it's been interesting, and it's always kind of fun when these types of things come around, but there's a lot to be said. So let's just get into it, shall we? Obviously, I received these paddles in the mail for free. I also got a free t-shirt and a hoodie. The hoodie's actually quite nice. I like it. So just to let you know about that, it came in a big package, and it was kind of fun unboxing it. I didn't want to do an unboxing video. That's not really my style, but I did get all this for free. I don't get any kickbacks for this. I'm not doing any affiliate stuff, anything like that. That is it. I just got it for free. That's all that's going on here. But before my package was sent out, Selkirk wanted to make sure that we understood that Selkirk Labs is an R&D experience. As a whole, it's an R&D thing. So it's not just the paddle, right? You're not just buying a $333 paddle. You're buying the paddle and the R&D experience that comes along with that. Now, I'm not going to talk about the R&D experience right now. I'm going to save that for later. Right now, we're just going to talk about the paddles. So when you buy a paddle, what do you get? So obviously you get the actual paddle itself. This one right here is Project 001. Now, 001, 002, 003, and so on is a common way that like designers and people who use a lot of computers for design work and stuff, it's a common way for them to name their file types progressing upward like that, because then they can go back to a previous version if they think they need to do so. I used to be a graphic designer. That's what I did before this. That's what I used to do. So these are very much so like projects. That's kind of the theme for the whole thing. So you get the paddle itself, you get a case like this, which is actually really nice. I mean, look inside there. Try to focus it on here. The camera always wants to follow my face. Really, really nice. We also get a card that comes in this little package here, and you can slide it out, and it's metal. Ow. So this is the 002. I have the 001 here somewhere. I don't know where it is, to be honest, but really, really nice. Got these little cutouts in the metal. Really nice. I personally don't care about anything like this. That's really not my thing, but some people really do. There are hardcore Selkirk fans out there, and this is really who this is for, you know. And then of course I got the Project 002. For those who are watching on their computers, you'll notice this has quite a lot of wear and tear on it. I wonder why. We'll get into that in a little bit. Also came with a case and the card and so on. These paddles are so different than each other. I first started out with the 001 here, did some basic dinking, and then did a couple of ground strokes and stuff like that. The materials used, I couldn't get the actual details of it. I'm guessing it's your typical polymer, and the face is like your typical, you know, carbon fiber or whatever. They create all of these names for it. I'm not a fan of that kind of stuff. Chemistry is chemistry. So the face on the 001 though is quite unique. They've got this like pattern on the front here. You're probably not going to be able to see. Actually, you can see a little bit of it. You see that? You see the pattern there? If it will focus correctly. It's quite cool. Does it do anything? Probably not. This is one of the softest paddles I've ever felt, but the ground strokes were terrible. Any kind of third shot drive was awful. There's just not a lot of spin. The ball just doesn't want to fly out the paddle. It kind of reacts off strangely, but very, very soft, great for dinking, but very lightweight, very handle heavy. Definitely not worth $333, but hey, maybe the R&D experience stuff will make up for that. Remember, this is not just a paddle review. This is an entire experience review here. So definitely a kind of a strange paddle. It's as standard as you get. It's 8 inches wide, the epic shape, very, very traditional type of paddle. Lacks an incredible amount of power, but it's got a lot of control and a lot of finesse. Feels really, really good to hit with if you don't like hitting the ball hard. So definitely kind of a weird, kind of a strange paddle, to be honest. But this is where really the focus is. It's with the 002 here. Now I put in probably close to 15 to 16 hours worth of play with this paddle. And it is truly unique. It is a unique paddle. Where do I even begin? Let's begin with the Smiley Face. So this has jokingly been referred to as the Smiley Face, or you know, the aerodynamic throat hole, whatever thing. What is it supposed to do? It's supposed to reduce drag and make the paddle feel a bit more aerodynamic. So instead of you swinging with the paddle and really feeling a lot of that resistance, you know, that drag, this is supposed to make that experience a little bit better. Does it make it a little bit better? Yeah, a little bit. To a significant degree? No, not really. As a cool side note though, whenever you do swing the paddle quite hard at a shot, it does make a kind of a cool whooshy kind of sound, which is a point for the nerd side of me. Sounds pretty cool, but does it really make that big of a difference? I don't think so. But it's a cool thing to experiment with, and I'm really glad that they're doing this. This is really cool. I mean, I had a feeling that this was coming. I think a lot of people saw this coming, but at the moment though, is it worth, again, $333? Assuming the R&D experience side of thing is really, really good? Not really. Invicta. Standard Invicta size. If you like an Invicta, you're good to go. The Face. This is the most spin heavy paddle I have ever played with, ever. And I've tried out a whole bunch of paddles. I have a whole closet filled, like the top 2 shelves of my closets outside my office here are completely filled with paddles. The spin on this thing is ludicrous. I had multiple people, friends that I play with up here in North Texas, that were missing my drives on the very tip of their paddle because they're not used to the dive that this paddle creates. It is really something else. It's incredible. The spin is ridiculous. And most importantly, after playing with this paddle for 15 to 16 hours, there is no reduction in texture on the face at all. There's none. It's still there. Now, it's only 15 to 16 hours, okay? So that's not a lot of time. But considering that there is 0 reduction in the texture of the face, it is still uniform, even down to the very bottom here where nothing gets hit, right? It's still the same as on the sweet spot, which is really something else. Now, this paddle is very unique, not only because of the hole in the throat here, but also the feel and the sound is very, very different. And that's where things get a little bit tricky. And I came to this realization one time when I was playing with this paddle back in early March at this point. And I thought to myself, this is really strange, because the paddle makes this kind of terrible clunky noise, but that kind of audio feedback makes you think that you hit the ball. Because whenever you hear that clunky sound, and you know what that sounds like, it's the worst sounding thing in the world for us pickleball players. Whenever you hear that sound, you automatically think miss hit. But you're always going to hear that sound whenever you play with this paddle. And that's part of what makes the experience with this paddle quite strange. The finesse game on this paddle doesn't feel right. There's something off about it. Strikes on the sweet spot don't feel 100% on the sweet spot all the time. Does that make sense? You feel like you're hitting it on the sweet spot, but it doesn't sound like it, and oftentimes it doesn't feel like it either. We have gotten so used to that solid, juicy feeling of the sweet spot. Think something like the Tempest Wave, which is just one of the best paddles ever made in my opinion, or even the Prince Response Pro, the paddle that I play with. Think about how that feels on the sweet spot. It's really something else. You don't get that with this paddle at all. It feels slightly clunky. And I think the way this functions is that you gain a lot of spin and you gain a lot of offense with this paddle, but you have to pay for it with that clunky feeling. Scientifically speaking, can I really prove this? Can I really say to myself, I get more spin and I get more action on the ball and more power because of the smiley face hole in the bottom? No, I can't scientifically prove that, and I'm not sure if you can. Maybe you can. Maybe they'll release a video and it shows that and it proves it. I would love to see that. I would love to see more of that in general. But that's what it seems to be. It seems like you have to give up a little bit of that finesse and a little bit of that solid control feeling for the increase of spin and the increase of power. And I mean, again, guys, when I say spin on the drives, it's crazy. It's something else. I've never experienced anything like it. So overall, the paddle does feel a little bit clunky at times, but on the serve and on the drive, it feels pretty good. Would I recommend a paddle like this? Well, again, this is a complete R&D experience. It's not just the paddle. So how is the R&D experience? Well, I got online to go check it out. I went and made an account. I didn't get any account information fed to me, didn't get any kind of insider look or anything like that. I went on there, I signed up, I was accepted, and then I went in there and I submitted my feedback. And what it was effectively, it was a 8 to 9 question survey that you just click through and you say strongly disagree or strongly agree or so-and-so. And that was it. That's the R&D experience, as far as I can tell. Will that change in the future? Well, I certainly hope so. But so far, the so-called R&D side of things is really, in quotes, it's kind of embarrassing, to be frank. I don't like saying stuff like this, but it's true. And I have to keep with the integrity here. Again, I'm not making any money off of this, besides like ads on YouTube. I've done like one paddle review where I did an affiliate deal where if you bought a paddle, you would get like, 5 or 10% off or something like that. And like I would get 5% of the sale or something. And I've stopped doing that. I don't think I'm going to continue doing that for the time being, because I have to make sure that there is no financial incentive involved that could potentially corrupt my integrity. I have to give you guys honest and real information about these things. I have to keep these guys accountable. Now, I love the whole idea of being able to make money and everything like that. That's all great. But it will never get in the way of my integrity. No way. And this R&D thing is just embarrassing. It's embarrassing. There was no need to do it. I could just send you an email. I could just send them an email and say, this is great, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. But right now in its current state, claiming that you get a paddle and you get the R&D side for $333 is not true and not real in any way. And thus, the paddles are valued at $333. And you have to make a judgment based on that. Because there is no R&D side of things, there's no proof that your feedback is being used. But I hope this will change in the future, and I'm sure it will. Fortunately, products and services like this can change over time. They can be reinvented, they can evolve, they can change into different things, and I'm sure it will. But at the moment, it is not worth getting into. Even though the Project 002 right here is, again, quite unique, and you get a lot of spin, and it's great for drives, and it's amazing for singles, it is not worth $333. Not in the slightest. Maybe if you can get it on sale or you buy it from a friend for $250 or something, I mean, maybe at that point, maybe? But $333? No, 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 not at all. I use a $130 paddle, the Prince Response Pro. I think it's $130, somewhere around there. And I do just fine, just fine. Pickleball paddles just aren't there yet, guys, when it comes to the technology. I've become a huge skeptic with this stuff. It's good marketing language. We are not at the point where we are seeing a huge revolution in paddles. It's just not there yet, guys. When Tiger Woods came onto the scene in golf in the late 90s, he completely revolutionized golf. He all of a sudden made it important to have power. And with that, the market responded with bigger driver heads. And as the driver heads got larger and larger and larger, they capped out at 460 cc's. But as they got larger, so did your power. You could hit the ball so much further, and it made a huge difference. It actually made a difference. If you were playing with a driver made in 1990 or even like 1995, it would have been a completely different experience than playing with something in like 2003, 2004, when this started to become popular. Pickleball paddles aren't there yet. Not even close. I'll let you know. Don't worry. In fact, we've already had that revolution, going from the wooden paddle to the titanium or the composite paddles. Titanium. I'm thinking about drivers right now. We've already been through that. Will we go through a second one like that? I don't know, but I don't think this is it. This could be the beginning of it, certainly. Could be the start of a whole new thing, a whole new journey. But we'll have to see how things develop. Overall, the Project 001, I mean, it's hardly worth $150, to be honest with you. The 002, somewhere around 200. Again, is it worth $333? No. Unless you're an absolute hardcore Selkirk fan. No, it's just not. So, it's the first time I've ever made a video where I really trashed someone's paddle. And again, like I overall don't like being a negative person, but if I have to tell the truth, then so be it. So be it. That's what I'm here for. I think that's part of the reasons why I have 40,000 subscribers. Thank you, by the way. Hit 40,000 the other day. Pretty cool. Thanks. But that's what I am supposed to do. That's what I am here to do. Perhaps we should have a conversation about this. Perhaps I'll make another video talking about the incentive side of things. You know, there's a reason, guys, why I don't do deals with paddle manufacturers. You may think by now that I would have like my own paddle and I would be sponsored by someone, not as a player, but as an instructor on YouTube. And no, I don't want that, because that's just going to well, first of all, there's probably going to be a clause in the contract that, you know, makes it impossible for me to talk about other paddles and show them on screen, which is a totally non-negotiable. Like, my reviews have to continue. But also the financial incentive could corrupt me in some way. And I have to be a little bit humble, and I have to understand the power of that and how easy it is to crumble and cave to that. Again, I'm all about making money. I love all of that stuff. I love it how people can start something up online and provide for their families and make a little bit of extra cash on the side. Side hustles are great, but not when it gets in the way of my integrity. That's not what I'm here to do. Boy, what a tangent. Maybe it's not a tangent. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. Would love to hear what you think about this whole thing. Let me know in the comments. Would really appreciate it. I will have an article published about these paddles in the next couple of days. Make sure you go check that out. Also, bookmark it, because I will post updates to that article as things progress. There's no way that they don't change the R&D side of things. There's no way. So definitely bookmark that article, pickleballkitchen.com. Definitely go on there and check all of that out. Anyway, guys, thanks for sticking with me through this monster of a video. I appreciate you all. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.